So welcome and namaste. This practice is a yin practice, and it relies heavily on props. So get creative when you are describing for yourself what could constitute a prop. Obviously the classics, bolster, blanket, pillows, blocks, but you can get creative and use any object that you have at hand around your house that would offer you some amount of support. The practice of yin yoga not only relies heavily on the props, but we use the props to support the body so that the practice is effortless. That's what makes it yin. And as you're creating your shapes, you want to watch that you're not trying to get to the prop. You bring the prop to you wherever you might be. So to start, let's come onto our back. Bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drift away. Make some adjustment with the relationship of how much the feet are away from the hips or how bent the knees are, and then support the thighs or knees as necessary. We are looking for a healthy amount of stress placed on different parts of the body, but a healthy amount of stress. So enough sensation that you feel something is happening, but not so much that you can't sustain the shape for several minutes. And once you feel as though you have arranged your low body comfortably, then rest the head in the interlaced fingers. You might find that lifting and lowering the elbows a couple of times to find some movement in the shoulders, find the place where the arms can rest. They may be hovering above the earth, in which case bolster, pillow, block, something to support the elbows. And as you get yourself nestled and settled in, take the first few seconds to really scan and then refine so that you are, in fact, completely supported and perfectly uncomfortably comfortable. And then allow the eyes to close and turn your attention to the sensations of your breath. It's a process to turn your attention from the external world to the internal world. So be patient with yourself, but continue to bring your attention home every time you notice that your mind has wandered. And every time you bring your attention back home, come home to a warm welcome. When we're creating our shapes in the practice of yin yoga, we're looking for compression or traction. Compression is bringing two bones closer and closer to one another, and traction is drawing them away from one another. What we don't want to settle into is numbness or tingling, sharp or shooting pain. And it may be that you only need to adjust by 1 degree to get rid of numbness, tingling, sharp or shooting pain, but that 1 degree is very important. In reality, you may have to come completely out of the shape, take a break, and then recreate the shape without any numbness, tingling, sharp or shooting pain. So as we settle into this first shape, the reclined butterfly pose, we're going to cultivate loving kindness, friendliness toward ourselves. The word called Metta. You can repeat after me silently or out loud, your choice. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and well in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. Take a deep breath in, sigh it out, and notice if you can soften something somewhere. Relax just a little more. Maybe allowing the eyes to sink into the sockets, softening the muscles around the orbit, including the skin at the temple. Separate the teeth. Let the tongue slide to the back of the throat. And the inner walls of the throat soften and expand. Noticing this warm, precious, and unique life-giving breath. And noticing how this precious and unique life-giving breath is different. Just a few more breaths settling into this shape. When the time comes to release these long held shapes, it is very important that you release slowly with support, sensitivity, and control. The body is in a fragile state after sustaining these shapes for long periods of time. So when you decide you're ready, and that may not be for another few more minutes, and that's okay. You gently release the hands from behind the head, find the path of least resistance, and relax the arms anywhere, wherever your body is comfortable. And gently drawing the knees up toward one another. You might use the hands to help. And extend one leg and then the other, and relax. Taking a moment in this neutral shape to receive the benefits of the long-held reclined butterfly shape. Noticing the return of energy in some areas, a sense of settling in other areas. Notice everything. Don't take my word for it. You scan your body and feel what you feel. Observing the shifts and subtle changes. Nothing remains the same for very long. And we'll begin to construct the twisted root, sliding the heel along the earth to bend one knee and plant the foot and then the other. Have props at hand. Cross the right leg right over the left leg. Let the right leg relax completely in the support of the left leg. The distance between the foot and the hips will have a difference in how and where you feel it. So we'll come in and out a couple of times and a little exploration and sensation. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, slowly let the legs begin to drift over to the left. The right leg completely passive and being tractioned over by the left leg. Pause the moment you feel some resistance and just notice where and what you feel. Take a moment to let your body soften into this shape and tell you. And then inhaling the legs back up. Keep the legs crossed, don't change anything. With the left foot, take 2 little steps, heel toe over to the right. And then again, as you exhale, that passive right leg being tractioned over by the left leg. And pause. The moment you feel anything, notice what and where you feel it. Inhaling back up. Walk that left foot back to its neutral position. And then go 1 or 2 more times over to the left. And slowly let the legs drift over. Pausing the moment you feel. What do you feel? What we want to resist is using the right foot as a brake or a kickstand. So try to tuck it in. And if you need some support, you use your props. So based on what you feel in those last 3 little explorations and sensation, you find the placement of the left foot that is just right for you. And then as the legs go over to the left, you want to try to keep the right shoulder relaxing, soft and heavy down on the earth. So that might mean that you need some support for the legs. If the legs don't come to the earth comfortably, while the left or the right shoulder remains soft and heavy on the earth, then support the legs. Give the legs somewhere to rest. Take all the time that you need to create the perfect prop, perfect amount of support for yourself. This is important. You're going to be here for several minutes. So taking the time that you need in the beginning to set yourself up for a successful stay. Might take the left shoulder a little further to the left. Might turn the gaze toward the right. Might let the left hand gently traction that right leg across and down. Not too much and not too little. This is really a Goldilocks kind of practice. And only you know what that is. It is entirely based on what you feel, not what you think about what you feel, but what you feel. To do too much or to do too little, both are incorrect. However, a less sensational pose held for a longer period of time is more beneficial than a highly sensational pose that cannot be withstood. But we are intending to put stress on our tissues. But we want a healthy amount of stress, not that unrelenting stress that causes disease and tissues to break down. So how do you know what is a healthy amount of stress? Begin to develop that discriminating intelligence to understand the difference in the sensation of beneficial stress, therapeutic discomfort, and the feel of pathological discomfort or pathological pain. There is a difference. If the shape that you're in includes a clenched jaw or held breath or a furrow in the brow, that could be an indication that you're in too deep. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. With the next exhalation, notice if you can soften something, anything. Just a few more breaths here, noticing, softening. You may notice there are cycles that the body goes through, resisting, softening, letting go, resisting, softening, and letting go. You may experience one cycle in each shape or several cycles. As you begin to develop a sensitivity of awareness to notice these cycles, when you decide that it's time to release the shape, do it at one of the points in the cycle when you have released. When it's time to come out of the shape again, so slowly, carefully, with sensitivity and support, find the path of least resistance. You're going to come back to that neutral receiving shape of legs extended and arms comfortably resting by your sides. Taking just a minute to settle into this neutral shape, give the body a chance to release the previous shape and settle into the current shape. Do not hesitate to give yourself support. Every time, anytime, whatever you need to be more comfortable. Observing the shifts and changes, no matter how subtle or obvious. Stay with yourself. And only when you feel as though your body has released the previous shape and settled completely into this shape for a few moments, do we then construct the twisted root on the second side. So one at a time, sliding the heels in, plant the feet. We're not the same side to side. And particularly in our yin yoga practice, we really want to honor that. We're not looking for any amount of balance here. We're allowing the body to find its own way. So letting the left leg float up, cross it right over the right leg and let it relax completely in the support of the right leg. And then again, we'll go through that little exploration in sensation, letting the leg drift to the right with the right foot more or less in line with the right buttock. Notice how, what you feel, where you feel it. And then inhaling back up to neutral. Heel toe, walk that right foot over to the left time or two, and then let the leg drift over again. And notice it may be very subtle and maybe just such a massive ball of tension and resistance that you can hardly discern that there's any difference at all. It's all okay. There's no right or wrong. Coming back up, walking that right foot back to neutral, and then a couple of times over to the right, slowly letting the legs drift over to feel what you feel. So the left shoulder is relaxed and soft on the earth. And then you find the perfect placement for that right foot that will allow the legs to drift over with ease. And then begin to make any refinements. Take the right shoulder blade a little more to the right. You might bring the left arm closer to the torso or extend it more overhead. Rest the hand on the rib cage, whatever works for you. Whatever allows you to feel a reasonable amount of healthy stress somewhere. Not too much, not too little, just right. So we take these first few moments as we construct the shape to refine and find that perfect balance of effort and ease. Of support and release. And then releasing any amount of effort necessary to sustain the shape. Muscular effort is yang in its quality. And this is yin practice. So it's the absence of muscular effort. So you use your props in such a way that there is no effort necessary to sustain the shape. And the sensation of the shape has the quality of healthy stress, of therapeutic discomfort. For the next few breaths, turning your attention in particular to the exhalation and the invitation to soften something somewhere. Use the inhalation to scan the body, spread the consciousness. Bring the inhalation to the tension. Breathe into it. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. Stay with yourself for a few more breaths here. Right in yoga practice really helps us to cultivate that witness consciousness. Observation without judgment, interference, direction. Being with what is, hopefully without preference. Just a few more breaths here. Letting go. Surrendering to gravity. Doing less. And at any point, there's no need to hurry. Stay as long as you like. If you remained in this shape for the next 20 minutes, that would be okay if it feels good. When you decide you're ready, find the path of least resistance. Slowly releasing the shape and once again finding that nice neutral position. Give yourself additional support as needed and relax completely. Observing as the body receives the benefits. Long held tension, softening. space where there was none, stability as needed. We're manipulating the energy meridian. So noticing any additional flow, certain parts of the body, or stemming of the tide. What do you feel? What do you notice? Where is your attention? And is your inner dialogue kind? Filled with loving kindness? So to create the next shape, which is the banana shape, take the legs a little bit wider. Dragging the right leg over slowly, slowly toward the left leg. It may not get to the left leg. It goes to the place where you start to feel some amount of resistance. That's it. If it doesn't get to the left leg, but you like to cross the ankle so that the left ankle holds the right leg, and bring the left leg to the right leg. As you slide the right leg to the right, watch that you're not rolling up onto the left. We're curling, not rolling. So the outer right thigh, hip, buttock, waist, kidney back down to the earth. Balancing the weight across the pelvis and the ribs still. Back body. And then maybe gently lifting the head, taking it over to the left, pressing gently into the head to bring the rib cage with you so that the torso comes over toward the left. Again, not rolling to the left, but curling. So the whole out edge of the right body back down to the earth. So the right shoulder and the right buttocks haven't grown light. Slowly and incrementally growing the pose so that you find your optimum shape. Pubic bone, navel, sternum, gaze straight up to the sky. If it's coming along, you might extend the right arm overhead some amount. Let it rest somewhere. You may need a blanket or block, pillow to support that right arm hand. And then maybe you can hold on to the elbow area with the left hand and relax the right arm into the support of the left hand. And then support the left arm. So no amount of the body, no part of the body working to sustain the shape. Completely passive. Yin. Take all the time that you need at the beginning to refine and refine and refine until you come to the perfect place for your body in this moment. To create a healthy amount of tissue, of stress for the tissue. Some amount of resistance, but not so much that you cannot sustain the shape without clenching, guarding, or holding. Soften. And once you identify your optimum shape, then begin that process once again of settling in and down. Again, relaxing area around the eyes, the jaw, and the throat. Smooth, easy rhythm to the breath. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and my mind. May I be calm and at ease. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. Can you do that? Anywhere you're holding on unnecessary tension. Stay with yourself in the field of sensation, scanning the body, witnessing without judgment. What does it feel like to inhale deeply in this position? What does it feel like to exhale completely in this position? How is this breath different from the last? At any time now, when you notice that your body is in that relaxation, release, softening cycle, and you feel as though you have received all of the benefits for today, then slowly, gently, methodically, and with support, release the shake. First the arm, and then the upper body, and then the legs and the lower body. Once again, coming back to that neutral shake. Making any necessary adjustments. If keeping the legs extended and starting to feel a little bit of aggravation, then by all means bend the knees. You might turn the toes to point inward and let the knees rest against one another. You might want to draw the knees right into the chest. Just let your neutral pose also be a relaxed pose. No effort necessary to sustain. When you feel ready, understanding that there is no need, no benefit to hurrying, we'll begin to construct the banana shape on the second side. Legs extended and wide. Drag the left leg across the earth in toward the midline in any amount over. The right leg is not the goal. We're not trying to get to the right leg. We're going to the place where you feel resistance in the left outer hip, thigh, waist. And that's where you pause. If you like the idea of crossing the ankles, then bring the right leg to meet the left leg. And then again, tuck the flesh of the buttocks in. The left outer thigh, hip, waist, kidney down to the earth. Curling, not rolling. And then any amount shimmying the upper body over to the right. Every time that you come back down, the left side and the right side come down to the earth evenly. Pubic bone, navel, sternum, gaze all still straight up to the sky. Maybe extending the left arm overhead, supporting on block, bolster, pillow, blanket, whatever you need, and then maybe take a hold with the right hand just to help hold the left arm in place so that you can relax. even more. No muscular effort required to sustain the shape. So notice how much you're using the right hand or arm to hold the left. How much effort you're using in the right leg to hold the left leg. The whole body softened, supported. So take your time to refine and add support. When in doubt, give yourself more support and do less. Not trying to get to the props, not trying to get to the right leg, bringing the props to you to support you right where you are. A less sensational pose held for a longer period of time is more beneficial than a highly sensational shape that cannot be held. This is not restorative yoga. We're not looking for a posture with no sensation. Quite the opposite. We do want to continue to develop that sensitivity, that discerning intelligence, to recognize the sweet spot. It's just right. When in doubt, do less. And settling in and committing to the shape. Notice. Notice that transition. Process of settling, softening, and letting go. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. Stay with yourself. Noticing what it feels like to inhale deeply. And what it feels like to exhale completely. And what it feels like when you recognize that you have spent the perfect amount of time in this shape. And the body is in a cycle of softening and letting go. And you feel as though you have received all of the benefits for today. The body is still unwinding, softening, releasing. And by all means, stay with that. That's why we're here. But at any point now, when you feel as though the time has come, very slowly, methodically and gently, release the shape. Take your time. Releasing these long-held shapes quickly can create injury. Upper limbs first, then the upper body, and the lower body and the lower limbs. Identify your neutral, comfortable shape where you can receive the benefits. Relaxing for just a minute. Continuing to observe the field of sensation. Continuing to let go and do less. And the next shape that we will begin to cultivate is the deer shape. We're going to find the path of least resistance to come to a seated position, moving slowly, carefully, with sensitivity and support. Props very handy here. I'm going to demonstrate with the bolster. In reality, the bolster may be more or even less than what you need. So leaning back on your hands and take your feet wide. And then the legs are going to come into the shape of swastika, unity, peace, the ancient symbol. So more or less, right? My bolster is over here to the left, your left. So I have my left leg in front. So I'm lining up my bolster essentially with my left hip and thigh. Enough room that I can begin to slowly turn, slowly, incremental, and then any amount, extending. So supporting myself maybe on forearms or elbows in the bolster. Maybe the bolster going the length of the body. You may find that the bolster needs more height to accommodate the head. I recommend putting the block under the bolster so that the full body is resting on the softness of the bolster. Bolster may be more than you need, and so a bit of a folded up blanket could be adequate to support you here. Whatever it is, we're not trying to get to the prop. Want to come and find your deer shape and then bring the earth to you in the form of your prop. Just right. Take all the time that you need to identify the perfect props, placement, thickness, softness, whatever it is. So you let your body find its shape, and then you bring the support. Watch how the right leg wants to slip forward. By all means, let that happen to accommodate any tension in the front of the right hip. But as you're able, see what happens if you take the knee a little further back. That 1 degree of shift, change, opens up a whole new world of sensation. Refining and refining until you find that position that is just right. Healthy amount of stress. Might be beneficial for you to extend the right arm and then let it relax. You might roll a little more toward the back of the left ribs or a little more toward the heart. 1 degree of shift can make all the difference in the world. Refining, subtle shifts until you identify your perfect shape, and then you settle in. And as you commit to the shape, turn your attention once again to the sensations of breath and body. Self-observation without judgment. Swami Kripalu's definition of the highest form of spiritual practice. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. And once again, here I am, letting go. Once again. Noticing the subtle cycle. Noticing what it feels like to inhale deeply in this position. And what it feels like to exhale completely in this position. And with the next exhalation, can we do less? Soften something somewhere. few more breaths here with yourself in this shape, bearing witness. And at any point now when you notice that you're in the softening and releasing portion of the cycle, then and only then, very slow, gentle, sensitive movements to release the shape. Body is in a fragile state. No sudden movement. Let the legs come out in front. And once again, find a comfortable and neutral position. If you have your bolster blankets handy, just might lean back and pause. We'll spend just a few breaths here before we come to construct the deer shape on the second side. When you feel as though you have released all of the sensations of the deer pose on the first side, have settled nicely into the neutral shape, then and only then you consider constructing the shape on the second side. So bringing any amount of props over to the right, leaning back, bend the knees, take that left leg right behind you and tuck the right foot in. So again, we're creating the shape of the swastika, more or less, the ancient symbol of unity and peace. And then turning. Slowly, slowly, slowly developing your shape. This time coming without any props, so that you find your body's own shape. And then you build up the props to meet you right where you are. Maybe additional support for the head. Could be stacked fists or a pillow. Might find that you want to extend the left arm or take the right arm back behind you, whatever you like. And take the first minute or so to construct the shape. So you might try a few variations for a few breaths. And then eventually you settle in. Commit to a shape. And begin that process of letting go. Using the breath, the powerful tool that it is. The inhalations help to spread the consciousness throughout the whole field of sensation that is the body. The exhalation provides the opportunity to soften something
anything, everything. Power of letting go. And once you have refined the shape, then commit. No numbness or tingling, no sharp or shooting pain. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and in my mind. May I be calm and at peace. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from outer and inner harm. May I be well in my body and well in my mind. May I be calm and at ease. Can you do that? And when you recognize that you are in the cycle of releasing and letting go, when you are ready, when you feel as though you have stayed for the perfect amount of time, then and only then, slowly, gently, with control, release the shape. And as you release, you come right into our final resting shape. So you may consider rolling up a blanket to go behind your heart for a gentle heart opener, or perhaps the length of the blanket from this shape rolled up to support the full length of the spine. So this nice long blanket roll supporting both the sacrum and the back of the head, the pelvis and the head. So you're sitting at the end of the blanket and release the spine down, supporting the pelvis, back of the pelvis and the back of the head. And relax into your final resting shape. You might cover yourself up for comfort, if not for warmth. Covering your eyes to encourage deep dive inward. Please support yourself. Find the place that's just right for you. And then once you are settled in, hearing your own voice, I am filled with loving kindness. I am free from outer and inner harm. I am well in my body and I am well in my mind. I am calm and at ease. I am filled with loving kindness. I am free from outer and inner harm. I am well in my body and in my mind. I am calm and at ease. And continuing to rest here to your heart's desire. Resting in the knowledge that you are deeply loved. Namaste, my dear.